So welcome to this Thursday morning. We are going to do a very gentle yoga practice. So really happy to welcome Sam, who's joined us today. So nice to have new faces coming in. Thursdays are about taking it a little bit more gently and a little bit more down on the floor. We're in the month of January, and so the focus, the very subtle focus, has been about grounding and rooting and coming back to the earth. So let's start lying down on our backs today. And hugging knees into chest. So I always have a little rug underneath me because my knees are a little bit sensitive and they like that. And also for some people, their back, the vertebrae of the spine are quite protruding, and so it's quite nice to have something to lie on that's soft, if that's true for you. And then holding onto your knees, you're just going to rock side to side for a little bit. And then reach your arms up above your head and reach your feet up to the floor. And take a little wriggle with your legs. A little bit of a shake. And then bend the knees. Take the hands, so either hand on either knee. And we'll do some breath and movement here. So as you inhale, let the knees gently move away from you. Give your tummy space to expand. And then as you exhale, draw the knees in towards you, helping the diaphragm and the tummy to get involved with your breath. I do love a yoga practice that you can do whilst you're under your duvet in bed, and this is one of them. It's a very real way of getting the diaphragm involved with your breath. Okay, and then let's take some circles with knees. So you get a nice bit of space in the sacrum. And still the breath and the movement are working together. So you can exhale as you bring your knees in and inhale as the knees come away from you. And then circling the opposite way. And then bringing the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop out to the side. Reach your arms over your head again. And you can either keep your arms straight or fold the arms so you're holding onto either elbow. And just like we do sometimes when we're sitting, the elbows can pull apart as the hands gravitate towards one another. And we do this to warm and wake the diaphragm, so hopefully as you breathe in you can feel your tummy rise. And as you breathe out you can allow the tummy to drop back towards the spine. Well done. And then stretching your arms up overhead. Take a nice big circle as you bring your arms down. Hands can come underneath the thighs as you draw your knees together. Separate the feet apart So the knees are dropped in, the feet are apart. And you can take your knees gently from side to side. So the whole way through the practice, always, you're exploring ways to move that feel good to you. And the way that you know it's feeling good generally means it's creating space and feeling light. If things are feeling contracted and squeezed and pinchy, that's usually a very strong indication that it's not feeling good for you. So you can adapt what you're doing at all times, pushing the needle in the direction of feeling good always. Okay, and then let's take a happy baby. So thread your arms inside your knees, catch hold of your feet. Or you might just catch hold of your shins. It is early in the morning after all. And then take a little rock from side to side. Sometimes you do rock all the way over. But if you've ever watched a baby having her nappy change, then there's lots of squeals of delight and rocking all over the place. And that's what this pose is all about. It's exploring, moving, breathing. Gently waking our hips up. Okay, crossing the ankles, take your hands behind your thighs and rock yourself back up to sitting. We've got a latecomer. There we go. And take your hands around. You can take your hands around the back of your thighs, or you can have your hands behind you, fingers pointing in. We're going to come into the core. So come up onto your toes, roll your shoulders away from your ears, lift your heart. And that might in fact be enough for today. Depends how you're feeling. You know, I've got a really good friend who's had quite a lot of surgery up around her chest, and for her to do this is extremely painful. So, you know, for some people it feels really easy, and other people it just, there's history, there's stories in the body that are stopping movement. So you do what feels good for your body with the story that you're carrying. Maybe you're going to bring your shins parallel to the floor. And then pull the tummy in towards the spine. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, maybe your arms are going to come parallel to your shins. They don't have to, they can stay back if that feels good for you this morning. So we're trying to breathe in and out through the nose as far as possible. I'm a little bit blocked up today, so it's not quite so easy, but where it's available, breathing through the nose is definitely the place to start. Okay, and then crossing your ankles, hug your heels in towards you. Place your hands down either side of your hips. Lift the pelvic floor and let the hips lift up off the floor. And then coming back and repeating. And you might want to explore straightening the legs if that doesn't force the spine to dip too much or at all. You don't really want the spine to dip at all, sorry. Lift the heart. And then when you're ready, tucking the heels in again, hands down, either side of your hips, and just lifting the hips up off the floor with a bit of pelvic floor strength. And let's go for a third round. You're welcome to soften if you want to take the slightly easier option, or you can keep going, bringing the thighs together, bringing the knees together, bringing the feet together. Be sure that your tummy's pulling in, you're not forcing the tummy out here. And last time, just lifting the hips. We're going to lie back down on our backs, hugging those knees into your chest. And then opening your arms wide, keeping both shoulder blades flat to the floor and keeping the knees together. Take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, just drop the knees maybe 20-30 degrees over to the right, turning your gaze to the left. And then inhale, bring them back to center, and doing the same on the other side. So rather than using this as a twist pose, we're using it as a core pose. So the focus is on isolating the muscles of the tummy, noticing where they kick in, just going to that space and then returning back to center. One more time. Coming back to center, bringing your hands, interlinking your hands behind your head, elbows out to the side. Excuse me. As you inhale, lifting your gaze. Now, it's up to you how your neck feels here. If that feels a bit Yankee, then you can just bring your arms down to your side. That might be better. If it feels okay, have the elbows out to the side. And extend the right leg, keeping the left knee in. And then inhale and switch sides. Exhale and switch sides. Inhale and switch sides. So you're scooping your tummy in like the inside of an ice cream cone. Not an ice cream cone, an ice cream scoop. Trying to get that inward curve. I think the correct term for this is yogic bicycles. We're going slowly, we're not trying to build momentum to sort of flow on the momentum, we're trying to move in a slow way that we actually feel what's going on in the tummy. Okay, let's do 3 more on each side, if you can. Then lay the head down to the floor, hug the knees in again. And this time we'll open the arms wide and we will use this for the twist rather than the core strength. So let the knees drop to the right, turn the gaze to the left. And take a couple of breaths. Trying to keep the shoulders flat to the floor if you can. A deep, deep breath. Inhaling back to center and exhaling over to the left, gazing to the right. Coming back up to center again, you're going to cross your ankles, take your hands around the back of your thighs, rock yourself back up, and we're going to come and lie on our front. Use the other side of the core. So let's create a pillow with your hands, turn your gaze to the side, and let yourself soften down into the mat, or into the floor rather. How does your breath feel today? How does your body feel today? And when you're ready, your forehead's going to come flat to the floor. I'm not going to do that, or you won't hear a word I say. But for you, you're going to have your forehead flat to the floor. You're going to take your arms down to your side with your palms facing upwards. The pelvis is going to become the pivot, but for the first round, we're going to keep the feet flat, so the tops of your feet are pressing into the floor. and the pubic bone and the pelvis is pressing into the floor. Arms are hovering just a couple of centimetres off the floor. As you inhale, lift the gaze, lift the heart. Maybe it's just the collarbones, maybe the chest, maybe even starting to lift the lower ribs as the fingers drop back towards the heels. And then exhale as you come down. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you come down. So that's 3 like that. You might also want to add lifting the feet now if that feels good. Finding that pulse of your breath and letting the movement dance according to that pulse. And then for this final one, let's come up and take some breaths, pausing. So you're either in Salabhasana with feet and heart rising, or fine to have the feet on the floor. And hopefully you can get a sense of the tummy moving as you breathe. And then taking your hands back down to your side, pressing into your hands, we're going to sit back on the heels. Maybe the feet stay together, but the knees open to allow you to lie your torso down between your thighs, arms stretched out in front of you. Breathing into the space at the back of the heart. With your hands, spread your fingers wide apart. Find the palm, the centre of the palm, and press that down into the floor. And once that's connected with the floor, draw your shoulder blades back towards your sitting bones and continue to breathe. Pressing down into the hands, inhale as you come up. Let the hips glide forwards as you come up into a little cobra. Soften your arms as much as you need to, and then exhale as you glide back into prayer. We'll do that a few times, letting our spines gently wake up. And then pausing, sitting back on your heels. And for this next one, it depends on how your neck is feeling. Perhaps your chin comes to the floor and you look along the length of your mat. If that feels constricted and pinchy in your neck, then just keep your forehead down. You're going to slowly glide your hands forward, keeping your elbows down and letting the heart stay low so your bottom comes up high in the air. And breathing a deep breath here. A really powerful pose for the diaphragm. So you get a deeper, deeper breath. Just like we did before, the palms press into the floor, fingers are wide apart, draw the shoulder blades down towards your sitting bones. And we're going to add a twist, so pick up the right arm, thread it beneath the left armpit and turn your right ear to the floor. And then returning to centre, and then picking the left arm up, threading it beneath the right armpit and turning left ear to the floor. So remembering that we're trying to cultivate space in the body, deep breath, and opening expansion rather than closing contraction. Wriggle whatever needs to wriggle. Come back to centre. Let the hands glide their way back in. We're going to tuck the toes under. Have a little bit of a foot stretch as we sit back on our heels. Maybe bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your sternum. So you might be able to trace the feeling of your heartbeat. You might be able to sense the movement of your breath through the body. And then bringing your hands down. And take our legs out in front of us. Change the angle so you can see a bit better. Okay, so we're going to do some forward bends. You're welcome to grab a cushion if you like having your pelvis tilted by just sitting on the edge of a cushion. That can feel really nice. And especially if you're a runner, you might find that you've got really tight hamstrings. So Annalie asked last week about a strap. A strap is a great idea. Or you can use a scarf or a tie. It doesn't need to be a yoga strap. But if you are going to work with a strap, then try to place the strap along the top third of your foot. If you picture your foot in thirds, you've got the heel, you've got the inner arch, and you've got the toes and the ball of the foot. You want the strap to go around the ball of the foot. Makes quite a big difference where you place it. Inhale, reach your arms up. You're welcome to soften your knees for this first one as you exhale into a forward bend. Maybe your hands come to your shins. Maybe your hands go over the tops of your feet. Or maybe your hands position themselves like the buttresses of a cathedral to kind of support you. And once you're in position, you breathe and you wriggle. And then inhale as you gently come back up. We're going to bend the left knee first. And then we're going to bend and we're going to let the knee drop out to the side. Oh, itchy eyes, blunged up nose. I'm a right mess today. And then you're going to bring your right knee in and just tuck the left foot behind. So it's almost like you're in a Moroccan souk selling your wares. It's the kind of position they would sit in. Holding on to that right knee, you're going to inhale and reach your left arm up, and as you exhale, take the elbow across and bring the right hand behind you. A nice twist. Inhale as you come back to centre. We're going to straighten the left leg. The right leg, I apologise. You blow my nose as well. Okay. Janushirasana. So the left foot is on the inner thigh. Right toes are pointing upwards. Inhale as you reach your arms up, and as you exhale, come forwards. And again, all these variables are there for you to find the way that this forward bend suits you. Just gently drop the chin towards the chest so that the back of the neck feels long. And then find the expansion and the contraction of the rib cage as you breathe. A lot of people find forward bends super frustrating. Maybe we can remember a time when they were that much more accessible to us, or we've seen all the images of people doing these amazing flat forward bends and we wonder why our bodies won't let that happen. And I think it's really helpful to remember that when muscles tighten, it's because they're protecting us. So tight muscles are a display of your body loving you. They are not in any way an indication of failing. It can be a little bit misguided, as love can be sometimes, because the tightening of the muscles can then cause problems. But at the core, a tight muscle is in defense, it's in protection mode, which is why the deep breath is so effective, because it tells the autonomic nervous system that you're safe, and from there the muscles will release and let go. Okay, inhaling as you come back up, reaching your arms up. Let's take hands either side. Let's just bring the knee up, looking at the time. Place the foot across, and we'll twist in the other direction. So this right foot still points straight up. Right arm comes up, elbow comes across, left hand comes behind, twisting in the other direction. Someone trying to come into the room. A little bit late for the class. Oh, I think maybe it was Ellie got kicked out. Find the wriggle that you need to make more space in the ribs here and in the back. And then inhale, come back to center. We're going to do the same sequence on the other side. So start by bringing the right knee in. Let the foot come to the inner thigh as the knee drops out to the side. Left knee comes in, and just allow the right foot to tuck behind the left heel. And hold on to your knee so you're sitting up. Inhale as you reach your right arm up, and as you exhale, take the elbow across, left hand behind. Okay. And then come back to center. We're going to straighten the left leg. Just allow the right foot to come to the center, the inner thigh. If you're working with your strap, then take it around your foot here. Otherwise, inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, come into a forward bend. And inhale as you come all the way back up again. Right knee comes up high. Take the foot across. Left toes still anchoring you, pointing upwards. Inhale as you reach the left arm up. And exhale, take the elbow across. Right hand comes behind you. Find the wriggle, find the breath, find the way to create space. And come back to center. Let's take both soles of feet together. Hold on to the toes, knees are dropping out to the side. Give them a little bounce. Inhale as you sit up. And as you exhale, drop the chin towards your chest and take in the lovely little roll so that the forehead or the crown of the head starts to move in the direction of your toes. Take an easy pose, which basically means cross-legged. Take your hands to your heart. Drop your forehead to your fingertips. The love inside of me sees the love inside of you in this beautiful world that we are creating together. Namaste, everybody.